Hey, so today I wanted to talk about something that's a bit of a departure from the thing I was talking about last, because the last video I talked about human contact. I don't know why. I just, I thought it'd be a funny video, right? I thought it'd be a video, I thought it was funny. I giggled a bit, I had some giggles here and there. I tee-heed every once in a while, a little bit of the, pressing my fingertips together while quietly tee-heeing to myself with my little giggles and all that shit. Okay, I don't know what this fucking joke is at the start of this video. I feel like I have brain damage. However, what I wanted to talk, when I was thinking a bit, when I was like after I made the video, you know, sometimes we make like jokes about ourselves, right? Like some people we kind of just make jokes about ourselves, or we make jokes at the expense of ourselves, or we kind of like say something about ourselves where we maybe like like for I don't know, like the example is like haha, I dropped out of college, and then someone like that like that's like a joke, but then they laugh about it, and then they kind of like look down for a bit, and they're just like, huh, I really did just drop out of college. Like, and no, that's not like an example for me. I've never been to college. I dropped out of the thought of going to college. But I guess that kind of leads me into what I want to talk about is like I guess just looking at yourself in a way. There's definitely those melodramatic times where you walk by a mirror or you see yourself in a mirror and you look at yourself, but you're not really looking at yourself, You're seeing your face and it's making you reflect on you, on your life, on your personality, on the choices you made, on the paths you taken, the shit you did do, the shit you didn't do, the shit you succeeded, the shit you failed, all that, right? And maybe it's just me because like I said, a melodramatic asshole. And sometimes I like kind of look at myself and I just kind of think to myself, damn, every choice I've made has led me to being the person I am right now. And holy fucking shit, did I choose every wrong choice. But it's just the phrase of looking at yourself. Looking at yourself, but you're not really looking at yourself. It's kind of like looking within yourself, sort of, where you kind of just like look at yourself. You look at the things you've done, and like I've said numerous times, it doesn't help to look at the past, but sometimes you kind of think about the path that has led you to where you are, and it's more of a situation of looking within yourself to see, are you proud of yourself? How do you feel about yourself? What are you thinking? How do you feel? When you see the life you've lived or how you are now, what does it make you think? What do you see when you look in yourself or when you look at yourself? For me, I see a fucking disgusting goblin, but that's because I'm looking at myself in a mirror. But when I look within myself, I see a lot. And what I mean by a lot is I see a lot of just complete failure, just a lot of like, damn, you really are a fuck up, like that kind of thing, right? And for some people, they look inside themselves and they think to themselves, you know what? I'm proud of what I'm doing, or they're just like, I'm content with what I am. But I have never had a moment in my life where I looked within myself and thought, you know what? I'm proud of myself. Because what the fuck am I supposed to be proud of myself for? Like what am I supposed to do? Like, I am proud of myself for not becoming a drug addict or a murderer. I mean, hey, good thing I didn't become a criminal, but like uh, I mean, it's not hard to not kill someone or do drugs or rob someone or all that kind of shit. I mean, in my case, like the drug one can be hard for people who have done drugs before. Because I don't know, it seems like most people when they get hooked on drugs is like because of like someone in their like school selling it, or like some like shady dude out back of a gas station, and like a teenager works there like, hey, you want some? And they're like, oh sure. Whatever. This isn't about fucking drug addiction. God damn. If I wanted to talk about drug addiction, I'd just tell a story about my fucking uncle and how he's in fucking jail. Dumbass. I guess that's something I could be proud that I'm not him, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, and this is like something that I would say And I've definitely said it to people in my family, and everyone's just like, no, not even close. But I truly believe that I am worse than my uncle. I truly believe that I'm a worse person than my uncle, solely because of the fact that I've had 26 years basically to try and succeed or even make a 1% difference in my life, and I have not done anything. I have regressed. I am somehow worse than when I was a literal fucking fetus. Like, I am actually worse than a fucking baby that can't do anything. And so, whenever I say, like, oh, no, I'm definitely worse than my uncle, people in my family are like, oh, obviously you're fucking not, because he's in jail. He's run away from the cops. He does drugs. Treated his children horribly. And it's like, yeah, well, he had like a full like 30 years of 30 to 40 years or something of actually being a pretty okay guy and actually having, purpose before he became a terrible person. So that's kind of why I say that. It's not about who he is now. It's more of who we are overall, and who, when you compare the things that we've done overall, what he's done now and what he's done in the past is completely conflicts, but the things he's done in the past completely trump anything that I do in the present or in my entirety of life. So I'm not saying like, oh, he's better than me because he's a drug addict, terrible person. I'm saying it because he's had more experience and more time to actually be a better person, and he was a better person for the longest time, for longer than I've been alive. So that's kind of why I say that. And it's like I said, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, he's better than me because he did drugs. No, he's worse than me in that regard. However, it's not something to be proud of, because you shouldn't have to take pride in the fact that you're not a drug addict like someone else, or a horrible parent like someone else. Like, I'm going to be honest, if I had a child, I probably wouldn't be a good parent. And it's not like, it's not like I'm going to drop kick my fucking child, but I mean, I wouldn't be a good parent because I wouldn't even know how to be one. I am far removed from wanting to be a parent, like, ever. Like, I don't think I ever want to be a parent. And it has nothing to do with like my disdain for children, because if I had a child of my own, it'd be different. I'd be able to actually care for them. But the reason I personally never want to be a parent is because I just don't like the idea of me having to raise something. Like, something, because when a child grows up, and if a child grows to be a piece of shit, it's always on the parent. Even if the child has a loving home, has everything right, the parents, they take their time to care about their child. They listen to their child's problem. They've helped their children, and their child is like completely happy. But if they just happen to do one wrong thing, it always falls on the parent, even if there is like overwhelming evidence that the parents didn't do anything. Because there are just people in this world who are just bad people by just what is the phrasing? Nature, not nurture. I think that's what it is. Like, some people are bad by nature and not nurture, I guess. Because like I think that's the phrasing. Because nurture would be like, if they were bad by nurture, then be because of the parents. But if by there's some people that are just bad, and there's some people that just do bad things regardless of whether they know it's right or wrong. Because at the end of the day, a person who comes from a perfect home with loving parents, they've had a happy life, great friends, a great life, they've never complained once about their life, at any point could go out and just fucking shoot someone, and you would never fucking know. But that has nothing to do with this. But I just don't believe I could ever raise a child. Like, and not to mention, I don't want a child to be raised by someone like me, because I have so much of my own problems and my own mental and personal problems to deal with, that should not be a problem of the child. The whole sins of the father shit should not apply to my kid. If I were to have a kid, I would not want my problems to fall onto the shoulders of my child. Like, that is like, to be a parent, you need to be of sound mind, along with a partner who is of sound mind. You need to be fully focused, committed, and sure of yourselves. You cannot be a person who even doubts yourself for a second, because if you do, that is when it all falls apart. I know, like, a new parent isn't going to know everything, but like, you have to be 100% sure about yourself before you can even hope to raise another living being. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't want to be a parent. But like, this video was like me talking about like looking into yourself, looking inside yourself. And it kind of like dawned on me, like I made the joke about how, like, oh man, I haven't had a hug since I was 5, and then it's like one of those things where I go, oh, I slap my knee, I wiggle my asshole a bit and I think, hoo hoo, hee hee, tee hee, that's pretty, that's a funny little comment I made, haha, and I laugh at it. But then I kind of just like, after I made it, like it kind of just was, it was like followed by silence, and then me just like trying to like break the tension of me kind of just like getting stuck in my own self thought, that I just kind of like think to myself, damn, it really is just like that. And then I try to break it up by just being like, hey guys, I mean, wacky thing, right? I mean, it doesn't bother me. And then I kind of just like feel down about it. Because I think at the end of the day, yeah, I definitely don't have anything to really be happy about. And I mean, it is what it is. The old phrase, when life is beating you down and oh my God, you're on the verge of wanting to end it all, what do you say? It is what it is, because it is what it is, I guess. I mean, it's not supposed to be what it is, but I guess it is what it is. But when I look at myself, I don't see a lot of positive things. And people can like attribute that to like depression, anxiety, all that kind of shit. But I would more say that I'm being more realistic, right? Because I can understand when something I'm saying is a bit bullshit to the extent that it is some dark part of my brain that just hates myself so much, compared to some things that I genuinely insult myself for, that I know for a fact is actually wrong with me. But for some reason, a lot of people around me just want to play the fucking role of, I don't know, fucking, what's that fucking nun lady's name that's like a saint or whatever? I don't fucking know. I don't care. Who gives a shit? Fuck nuns. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if they're hot. What was I talking about? Anyway, every time I like insult myself on anything, it's like, oh, I'm so weak. It's like, oh no, you're strong. It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm literally weak. Like, motherfucker, I can barely lift things over like fucking 50 pounds, dude. If I tried to lift my fucking, like, either of my fucking, like computer chairs, I'd actually fucking shit myself. Like, I used to be able to bench 200, and then I stopped working out because I lost the motivation and I was so miserable. And I just didn't work out because I just didn't see a point. I was like, oh, why am I taking care of myself? I just kind of want my body to rot. And it did. My muscle went down, and now I can't lift shit. So when I say I am weak and people try to counter it, it's like, shut the fuck up. I know what I am. If I can't lift something heavy, I am fucking weak. It's not like I said, oh, I'm so weak and brittle. If a wind blows, I fall apart. No, I said like I'm weak, like I'm physically weak. If I tried to lift something a little too heavy, I would probably break my fucking spine in half. And then there's the other one where people constantly try to say I'm smart, and it's like, no, I'm not fucking smart. I'm a goddamn idiot. I literally failed out of school, except I didn't. I got all Fs, and then the school pushed it up to a D minus so they could hurry up and graduate me. And people keep trying to tell me I'm smart. It's like, I'm not smart because I read Moby Dick when I was a little kid. That does not make me smart. I am not smart because I can use words with more than 6 letters. That does not make me smart. I am not smart because I know how to play a video game or watch a YouTube video or type fucking words into Google. I am not smart because I can make sentences, because I can talk about things that I'm thinking about. If I'm talking about something and I'm like, oh man, I've really been thinking about this thing lately about how the infinite vastness of the universe is like crazy, and it's like, what if there was like an invisible wall that had like a Cthulhian monster on the other end, and when you got too close it started sucking you off, and you were like, holy shit, this is some intergalactic head. It's like, that doesn't make me smart if I say that. That just makes me fucking deranged. Like, like, the thing is, people like attribute like your intelligence with just like the words you can say. Like, me saying big words and me saying long sentences and me just doing all sorts of crazy shit or memorizing things does not make you smart. It just doesn't. So when I say I'm stupid and people try to like reassure me like, no, you're not, it's like, shut up. Like, damn, dude. Like, you can just fucking say it's true. You don't have to say I'm smart just because I could read a fucking book as a kid. Just because I can say big word. Just because I can do big thing. Just because I fucking sit there, scratch my nuts, and don't hurt myself does not make me smart. Like, just because I have the spatial awareness to not smash my head into a wall does not make me smart. Me not fucking bathing with a toaster does not make me smart. Those are just basic fucking human instincts. Like, what the fuck do you mean? But just getting off topic. Now I'm just ranting about that. But like I said, when I look at myself, I see someone who is weak. I see someone who's stupid. I see someone who is pathetic. I see someone who is lazy. I see someone who uses mental health problems as an excuse, which, I mean, I don't know why I see that, because in reality, I don't really say because of my depression I do thing. Usually I just say like, oh, I'm sad because depression, or I'm insanely nervous because anxiety, which is more of what they are usually blamed for. Rather than, it's not like I fucking, hit someone with a car and I'm like, oh, sorry, man, I'm just so anxious and I have depression. Like, no, usually when I talk about my depression or anxiety, it's about like me being incredibly fucking sad and hating myself, or me being insanely paranoid and scared of everything. Like, so I guess I don't actually use those excuses. But at the end of the day, I hate myself so much that when I look inside myself, I see everything as an excuse, right? Like if I were to say, like if I literally broke my leg and then I struggled to walk up the stairs, I wouldn't blame like my broken leg. I'd blame myself. I would literally be like, well, if you would just stop being a lazy piece of shit with a broken leg, you could walk up the stairs. And it's like, I fucking broke my leg. I fucking can't. So I guess in a way, when I look in myself, I see things a bit different, mostly because I do not like myself. So it is the equivalent of looking into the mind of, or the heart, or the whatever the fuck of someone you hate. And if you hate yourself, well, then you're not going to have a good opinion on yourself, obviously. But like I said, everyone has their things they see when they look at themselves. And for a lot of people, they do just see nothing but shit. Even if they're successful, even if they're happy, you can make $1 million fucking dollars. You can be the richest man on earth. You can have the most suave, elegant, loving life. And you can still look inside yourself and see nothing but a fucking pile of shit. You can look inside yourself and think, God damn, I fucking hate myself. Meanwhile, someone with nothing can look inside themselves and say, I'm a hard worker. I'm a loving person. I care, you know? But at the end of the day, when I look inside myself, I see a giant, like, amalgamation of just every negative thing that a human can be. Within, at least, I guess the upside I could say to that amalgamation is that at least all the bad things that I can be are at least legal. At least I'm not a criminal. So is that something to be proud of? Like, hey, at least I'm not a criminal. Well, I mean, there's no say. One day, who knows, maybe one day I could go like out for a walk and then some guy could come running up to me with like a bullet hole in his chest and he's like, "Oh God, help me." And he gets his blood on me and I'm like trying to hold him up. I'm like, "Oh God, stay with me." And now my fingerprints are on him and then he dies. And then the police show up and they're like, "Oh, so you're covered in this man's blood and your fingerprints are all over him. Well, you're going to fucking jail for murder." And it's like, oh, well, fucking fantastic. See, that's something anxiety does. It makes you think that literally if you go outside, you're just gonna be framed for murder. But when I look inside myself, I see a fucking failure. So I guess at the end of the day, who knows what anyone else fucking sees? I see nothing but just shit. Literally, I'm literally just a fucking human mass full of shit. And I'm not just talking about my intestines, I'm talking about from head to toe. So it's kind of, this video is definitely a departure, since the other one was me laughing about human contact, like, ha ha ha, hand holding and shit, ha ha, oxytocin, ha ha, ha ha, I've never felt a positive feeling, I've never hugged someone lovingly and have them tell me they care about me. Like, I've never had that. I've never been happy. Is it obvious that I've never been happy? Oh my God, I'm absolutely glowing. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck that was. That was just my brain completely autopiloting. Anyway, yeah. Point is, I'm miserable. I think. I think that was the point. My point is, you look inside yourself. A lot of people, they like to pretend like there's something they're not, all that shit. But at the end of the day, when you look inside yourself, everyone sees what they are. Everyone knows it. Even like narcissistic people who like talk, like just constantly like praise themselves, even when they look inside themselves, they see like bad shit. And they can even see their own narcissism. But obviously they're narcissistic. They're not going to admit it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you see when you look into yourself? Like fucking episode of Dora. Can you point to where the pain is? That's correct. Your testicles or ovaries. Sorry, your ovaries are dried up. You cannot have babies. Sorry. Great way to end this video. I'm dead inside. Whatever.